Ágætu félagar, þá skulum við hefja leik á síðustu hólunum. Við erum búið með 12 hólur, erum svona 2-3 yfir pari, eigum 6 hólur eftir. Martin ætlar næst að fara í þriðja og síðasta hlutan á sínum fyrirlestri sem snýr að Mótakerfinu. En út af því að við hættum kannski fullskart áður en að allir náðu að bera upp sínar spurningar, þá svo sem alveg tími til þess að gera það núna áður en við höldum áfram. Og síðan þegar Martin hefur lokið þriðja hlutanum, þá tökum við aftur spurningar þann hluta og síðan langaði mig aðeins bara að gefa ykkur smá uppfærslu á því hvar við stöndum gagnvart í samningunum við Golfbox. So Martin, before we continue to chapter 3, there might be 1 or 2 additional questions based on the two previous parts of your lecture. And I have one question for you, based on the tee time registration module. And that's based on some of the clubs in Iceland, they have 27 holes. And they have a rotating system. So on Wednesday, you can play, it's A, B, and C, let's say. So on Wednesdays, you play a round of 18 holes on A and B, and C is only limited for 9-hole play. And then they might want to rotate it the day after. So on Thursday, it's going to be B and C, that is the 18-hole round, and A will be the 9-hole round. Does your system, how does your system deal with that, and or if it does deal with it?
Since the tee time booking is just the booking of first tee, then that scenario is very easy to set up. There's the same scenario we have in my club where we have 27 holes. So we simply name the course the 18-hole course and the 9-hole course. In the setup of the resource at the bottom, which I didn't show you, is where you choose what course is connected to the resource, and this is the course that the scorecards will print from. So depending on, my club changes every 2 weeks. Simon's in Copenhagen, they change every day, I think.
Okay.
So every day they have a new 18-hole loop. And they simply go into the resources, change the course in the system. It's the same place you book because it's the 18-hole course, and then they have a schedule somewhere on the web page of the courses that they book.
Okay, so you can easily accommodate those features.
Yes, we also have another option. We call it the loop system, where you have 3 equal 9 holes, and you book. You have A, B, and C, and when you book on A, it will automatically book at, if you set it up from A to B to C, from C to A, it will book 2 tee times for you in an interval of, let's say, 2 hours or 2 hours and 10 minutes. It will book at 8 o'clock and at 10:10 on the next loop. That means you have, in the morning or all throughout the day, you have 3 equal tee times that you can book, but you can always see whether there are people coming on the course, because they will be like cut in half, because it will be the turn time. If there's only 2 players on the turn time, there's nothing wrong with me being able to book the turn time and play 9 holes with those 2 guys, and then I continue to the next loop. So those are the options we have in the system.
Okay, thank you. Fleiri spurningar varðandi, já, gjörðu svo hlýnu.
Svipað mál með 9 hólvöllina, þetta haka við á spilar 18 og það fari sjálfkrafa í seinni ráðstöfun?
The question from this gentleman is, he has a 9-hole golf course, and the question is, if you book a tee time, can you program the system or adjust the system so if you want to play 18 holes, the system will automatically book you a tee time 2.5 hours later,
yes.
Following. Yeah.
If we use the loop system as well on just a 9-hole course, you will have on the same grid that you saw for the 18-hole, you will have 2 tee times automatically. So you can do that on a single course as well. You don't have to have 3. You can do it on 1 course as well.
Okay.
Vinna samningar. Einhver bókar sig í Grindavík en með samningu upp á X uppnætt og í öðrum klúbbi sett það upp í kerfinu. Alla þá klúbba sem með vinna á fixed price.
Okay. The question from this gentleman was a lot of golf clubs in Iceland, especially around the Reykjavik area, they have what you say, some kind of friendship deals with other golf clubs, saying that the members of Golf Club A can play Golf Club B for a reduced price. So the question is, can Golf Club B or A put something in the system that fixes the rate? So if a person coming from Golf Club Reykjavik to play Golf Club Selfoss, that would automatically come up with the right price for that certain individual.
There's two different ways to do this. If it's all the members of this one club, then we have, in the resource system, we have discounts. We have the options of setting up discounts from X amount of, X number of golf clubs, where we go in and we select the amount goes for this golf club and this golf club and this golf club, and they will get a 50% discount or 1,000 Icelandic kroner discount.
Can we put in a fixed price?
You can put in a fixed discount, and then it will look a fixed discount. So it will look at your price. Like my tea time booking now is 400. And then I put in a discount of 200. They will always have to pay 200.
But the question is, more or less, can the system be set up in that way so that members of Golf Club Reykjavik will always pay 3,000 kroners to play the course?
If you use the yield management, if you use it right, if you have 5 different prices, then you can't. Then it will be a discount of each price. So it will be a 50% discount of the highest price, a 50% discount of the lowest price, down to the minimum price.
Okay.
But if you have a fixed green fee all year round, every day, like I do right now with 400, then you can.
Okay. Fleiri spurningar? Okay, if there are no... Oh, sorry. Gjörðu svo vel.
Skilja það rétt að þetta er skráning á þeirri tíma og að þeir sem eru ekki í klúbbi eða eru kannski erlendir gestir eða eru í Golfsambandinu, geta þeir ekki skráð þeirri tíma inn í kerfið og borga líka bara undir nafni. Skilja það rétt að
The question is, and I think I know the answer to the question, but I'm still going to raise it. The question is for nomadic golfers that are not members of a golf club in Iceland and therefore not a member of the Icelandic Golf Union, for example, overseas members, they cannot go on the system, or can they, go on the system to book a tee time?
Not right now.
No.
Well, actually they can, but they have to find their way back to where
but
we
they
can.
might, if they are members of a golf club in Denmark,
Yes,
and
then
they
they can.
have a login access.
Yeah. So if they're a member of a Danish golf club, they can use the country and access all the Finnish golf clubs, or the Icelandic golf clubs.
As long as the Icelandic Golf Club allows that option.
No, as long as the federations make the agreement.
Yeah, but I'm guessing that each and every golf club could put up a rule within their own system saying we only want to allow our members to book tee times and not members of the Danish.
It doesn't really
Copenhagen
look
golf
where the green fee players are coming from. A green fee player is a green fee player. So if I have access to book your tee time, whether I'm coming from Denmark or I'm coming from another Icelandic club, I'm still a green fee player. Then it will allow you. You can't say, you can on a union basis say we won't allow any other countries to go into to Iceland.
But my question is, the respective club can probably limit who can book tee times at their club. Is that?
But not by country. Either
you're
a green fee guest or you're not.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter where you're from.
Right. Gjörðu svo vel. Yeah, the question from that gentleman was, we have our own database at the moment, the golf.is database, which keeps track of the scores of every members that we have for the past 20 years. Will that data be transferred into the Golfbox database?
If it can be extracted in a format that we can import, then yes. And we do this for other systems, so I would assume it can.
Framhaldsspurning við þessa. Það spurning, hvað viljum við taka yfir? Viljum við taka yfir 20 ára sögu?
No, the comment made by the...
Meira okkar svara.
Yeah, it's probably not a question directed to you. Is that in addition, further up to that, the previous question, it's probably for us to decide what data we would like or prefer to have transferred.
Yes.
Because probably we won't need 20 years of bad shots. For example, in my case, I would like to, there's a limit of statute that I would like to forget. So it's up to us what data we transfer.
And it won't be the hole by hole scorecards. It will be the points that because we won't be able to import the hole by hole score. I don't think we haven't done that before.
Just the total number of points.
The historic
per round.
data will be 26 points, 28 points for you, 18 points.
Okay, so it would be up to us.
How many years back?
And to store that information then, if we want to. I mean, if we want our players to be able to look up a round they played 3 years ago in Grafarholt, hole by hole, that's something for us to accommodate.
No, the system will, if you start from scratch, I have all my scores. I can go in and look up all my scores from since I joined my club. They didn't transfer from my old club, so I only have scores from the 6 years I've been a member, 7 years. But I can go down to 2011 and see all my scores.
Yeah, but my question is the scores that we are now keeping on golf.is.
Yes.
Those individual rounds will not be transferred hole by hole.
No. Most likely not. We don't have any hole by holes transferring as of yet.
Good try. If you change golf clubs, what happens to your data?
Depending on where the data is stored, if it's stored in your database. From January 2020, I'm a member on Golfbox, and I put all my rounds in there. And if I change golf club in 2023, what will happen to the rounds I played from 2020 to 2023? They will be in the new club, because the data will be somewhere where we can transfer them, or they will be on the social security number.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Ef það ekki fleiri spurningar, no more question on this subject. So
let me just finish by showing the part that didn't quite work. And I'll actually show it. I haven't gotten hold of any of our developers yet, so I'll just show it on my own club in Denmark. So in the club tournaments, it will show all our club schedule, and we have quite an active senior or winter section. This is just current tournaments is 1 week ahead, 1 week behind, and then we have all the tournaments for the whole year in the system. And we have a lot of volunteers creating tournaments in Golfbox, because the more scores you have in your handicap system, the better, or the more right your handicap is. So they have all learned that if we have tournaments, we should have them in the system, and we should transfer them to the handicap system. So almost all of our official tournaments, whether it's the men's section or the ladies sections or it's the club tournaments, they are in the system. So we have close to 200 tournaments a year in my golf club. And there's ways in the setup where they can put in a category. So if I just want to see the men's section, I can sort that, and all the men's sections tournament will be in the system. Now my men's section is a little weird compared to other men's sections. They only create it on the day that we play. Other will create the whole year in advance, so you can go in and sign up. But we sign up by booking a tee time and then putting our name on a list. Even though I try to keep them to be a little more, I try to teach them to be a little more proactive. It's a little uphill battle. And we're next with 300 meters from my club, and I still can't get them to do it. But it's because that's the way we always done it. So it takes a little while. But in the overview, you can see all the tournaments, and you can see all the tournaments that are open for sign up and online sign up. So if I wanted to play in this one here on the 31st of March, I can enter online. I will go into the tournament and I'll see the information given to me by the tournament organizers. I can enter, and they may have put in some questions if I want to join for dinner. They actually didn't. They just put in the cost, and I can pay now. I haven't cleared this with my wife yet, so I'm not going to sign up. But if I click on this one, it will take me into some terms and conditions, and it will take me into the internet payment module, where I can then put in my card information and sign. Maybe I should just do it while I'm here. I guess I better clear it. So as soon as I pay here, I'm signed up for the tournament and ready to play it. And then they can when the sign up closes, they will create the start lists. They will publish the start list, and I'll get an email. What time will I start, and who will I play with? And then I'll just come and play on the day.
Sorry, could you not book a certain tea time in the tournament?
No, the tournament organizer decides when we play.
Okay. Is it possible in the system to have it that you can book a certain tea time in the tournament?
It is not at the moment, but it is something we have on the roadmap to when we will actually implement the tournament into the tea time grid. So when you book a tea time, it will ask you, do you want to sign up to the tournament?
So the question is, following your answer, was that can a player, when registering for a golf tournament, select his or her own tee time? And the question is, no, the answer is no.
And the answer is no at the moment, no. But the solution will be the other way around, most likely. That you book a tee time and you sign up for a tournament that is in the same time. But right now, all the tournament administrators will have to create the tee times.
Okay.
So just to not that one. Just to finish this, I will just switch to the. It's okay. I'll switch to the phone, right? I'll just switch to the phone to show the app. And the app is country-based. So for each country where we have the app available, you will be able to download. It worked earlier. It worked before everyone came in. That is weird. Ten minutes before we started, I had the app up here. I don't really. Nothing happens.
You have a remote for the projector? Maybe you have to change the source input?
No, but now the PC doesn't come back on. Yeah, something happened. Yeah, projector's on. It's changing now, but it's not.
Is there any setup for the screen?
Yeah, but it won't.
To extend the screen?
It just changed all the. See, it even registers it. Why is it not showing anything? It's even registering it as the main screen. Okay, that is weird. Can you try to change the source? And that just worked 10 minutes before. I put this in and it worked. That was weird. I'm afraid to do it again.
Need to turn phone on.
Shouldn't. It just did like this. So was the only. No, I just took a bunch of screen dumps of the app before I came here, so we'll do that. I don't know why it doesn't go on the phone.
But you must get this up at least. Okay, in here.
Close. I promise you I won't take it out again. Okay, it's working. I have some pictures of the app that I actually took before we started, and I had working 10 minutes before you came in as well. So we'll take a look at the pictures in a little bit. But let's go back on the schedule now, and we'll take a look at the tournaments in the system. So the tournament is it's a right as well, so you can give how many you want rights to the tournament system. And I'll switch to English. And the tournament system is a what do you call it? A system that's on its own, so it can be used with a golf club, or it can be used as a tournament organizer, or as a union, or a travel agency. We have a travel agency in Denmark that uses for all the golf travels. Go Spain, they'll have tournaments where they use the Golfbox for the results and everything. So the administrator will click on the tournament button, and it will start up the tournament system, and they will do what we call a single sign-on. So if you're in the Golfbox administration system, it will log you on to the tournament system. When we built this new system 5 years ago, we had a tournament system that worked really well, but we needed to build a new one in a new technology to be able to grow with everything. And one of the things that we really worked hard on, because we have so many volunteers in the system, and they age from 18 or maybe even 14 to 75, 80 years old, we wanted to make the system as easy to use as possible. It's of course, the more you add on to a system, the more functionality you get. You can do a lot of things with the tournament system, and you can get so confused that you back yourself into a corner. But for the most normal tournaments and everything, the system and the setup work really, really well. Also, if you want to change something in a tournament, you have started up with one format. Maybe you build scramble, but it was supposed to be a pro-am. It's easy to change in the settings, so it will accommodate those things. So we have some areas in the tournament module, and the first 3 is what the normal clubs will see. They will see all the competitions. They will see order of marriage, where they can have all the order of marriage, maybe the men's sections, a club champion or whatever, different order of marriage. And slideshows, which is for when you have a tournament and you want to show the live scoring on the TVs, on the projectors in Clubhouse, then you create live shows. And the interclub is really just a union module where you can have all your interclub matches in the system, and each interclub match is played like a mini Ryder Cup system. What I just prepared today is a little like the TV cooks do. I prepared a scramble for Iceland, and I even added some teams and some members. I'll just go through quickly a little bit about what the setup is, about how to add members, what you can do in the different areas, how you can enter scores, how the members the players can enter scores, or how volunteers can enter scores. So there's different ways of entering scores into the tournament in the system. So to keep it as simple as possible, we looked at how is the life of a tournament, and first you set up a tournament, then you add members to a tournament, then you do start list to a tournament, and then at the end you do results. So we built it up with 4 tabs. So you start in the setup area, you go to entries, you go to start list, you go to results, and then you're finished. In the setup area we have 2 columns, and you can basically say that left side is all about the conditions of play. When do we play? Who can play? Where do we play? What kind of tournament do we play? How is the winner decided, and if there's a cut? All this is in the left side. Everything that has to do with how we play the tournament. You can set up a tournament with just the left side of the setup. Everything on the right side has something to do with when can the players sign up, when can they, what would we like to show public, who's the contact person, something that's not a necessity for a tournament. But if you use online sign up, of course it's something we need to have in there. But if you come in today and you want to create a tournament for the 20 guys that just went out, you can go in and just set up left side and you have your tournament ready. So basic, just a quick run through of this. Basic is name, day played, and you can put in categories. Is it a club tournament? Is it a junior tournament? Is it an elite tournament? And so forth. And you can even put up a password for this tournament. If you have a lot of volunteers, they normally, for each group of volunteers, they would let's say the senior tournaments organizers, they will have one password that they share, because then all the seniors can go into all the different tournaments. And then the men's will have their own password, and then the club tournaments will be their own password. But it can be individual for each of the tournaments. In the classes is where you set up how many different classes do we compete in. In a scramble, it's normally just one, but it could be a club tournament with 4 classes, all based on handicap, 0 to 5, 5 to 15, 15 to 25, and up to 25 to 54. Or we can have the system calculate the handicap ranges of all the classes. If a lot of the tournaments in Denmark, they have surprises for each class, and they want to give the players the same opportunity to win, so they use same size handicap classes. That means everyone signs up, and once we're done, we click a button, and the system will calculate the handicap start and beginning for each class, so they will have the same amount, maybe 20 players in each class, competing for 3 prizes in each class. So that's probably the most used function in the system when it comes to club tournaments. But there's a lot of other options that you can say a player can play in more than one more than one class. If you have a stroke play, or if you have a net play, stroke play tournament, but you also want a gross class, and not everyone wants to play gross, because you want to be able to pick up the ball when you hit it in the bush and you can't do anymore. So the main tournament is Stableford, but you may have 20 others that play in the gross stroke play. So you can say we have one tournament, but we actually have 2 classes with 2 different types of tournament. You can have a team tournament like a Pro-Am that also has individual classes in the same, and you just enter the scores once, and it's calculated for the teams, and it's calculated for each of the individual classes as well. So you can do multiple things in this setup. You can tell the system who's allowed to join by handicap or by age or by player status. If it's a pro tournament, you may not want amateurs to join. If it's all the way around, you may not want the pros to join. So the more you put in, the more you limit the system of the players in playing in the tournaments. So this is a simple scramble. It's from +8 to handicap 36, and everyone from 0 to 99 can play, and there's 4 players on the team. On the courses, do you have your course information in the database today, or so you'll be able to search all the clubs in the country, or actually in all these countries that we have access to the course database to. You can search all the clubs and choose the one you're playing at. If it's your own club, it will always be pre-selected. The standard course will always be the one that comes up. If for some reason you're playing your own course or any course and you want to amend it, you can always go in and change the tees. You can go in and change the holes, course rating, slope, and everything. You can, once it's in a tournament system, you can amend it from the original course if you want to do that. And for some reason, maybe you have just for this one tournament a par 5 that it's underwater, so it's being changed to a par 3, but has nothing to do with the normal setup of the course. And then just go in and change everything in here. You can also put timings on the score on the course, and that will show up on the scorecards. So if you start at 9 o'clock and 9:10 and so forth, it will show you on the scorecards when you have to be where at any given time. If you put in, it takes 14 minutes to play hole number 1, it takes 12 to play hole number 2, and so forth. Put that in, and you get help with maybe speeding up the players. If you put a little less time that they need, maybe they can actually play even faster. If you're playing a more pro tournament, you can put in some pin positions, just text 5R, 7L or something like that. We have something we call course starts. It's normally just the same as a round. So if you play one day, one tournament, you have one course start. But sometimes you have more course starts if you play a tournament where if you're a team of 2 and you play 6 holes where you play a foursome, 6 holes where you play a 4-ball, and 6 holes where you play something else. Threesome, for instance. Then you can set up 3 course starts, and you can tell the system that for the foursome we play 1 to 6, for the 4-ball we play 7 to 12, and from the greensome we play 13 to 18. The important part of a tournament is what we call the rounds formats. This is where we tell each course start what round it is. And in the format is where we tell what format are we playing in the system. And there's a lot of different formats. It can be stroke play, it can be single stroke play, it can be a scramble, it can be a Stableford single, it can be Stableford scramble, it can be modified Stableford. And modified Stableford is using the one they use at the pro tournaments with 8 points for an eagle, albatross or better, 5 for an eagle, 2 for birdie, and 0 for par. So if you play to your handicap, you have 0 points in a modified Stableford. Then there are some other options, bogey versus par, some maximum scores. The new rules has this new feature where you can say you never get anything worse than 2 over par, 2 over your net par. So you can actually play a stroke play tournament where even you get a 10, you get 7 on the scorecard. Don't know why, but that's in the new rules. So you have all these options to change the setup. In my classes, I set up that my max handicap was 36. For instance, on the Eco Tour Pro-Ams, everyone can play in those. It doesn't matter whether the handicap is 72 or 54 or whatever they are, but they all have to play from handicap 28 if they have higher than that. So in the classes, I allowed everyone up to 36, but here I have an option of saying I want them to play of 30 if they have 30 or higher. Everyone will have no more than shots of handicap 30. So just a few options. You can also say what is our stroke allowance in the tournament. In a scramble, I like to play from scratch and make the teams as equal as possible, but it's possible to play a scramble with handicaps as well. For each tournament, you can also decide what happens if they are the same scores. You can do mathematical or one of the many different options in the system. For pro tournaments, earliest tee time, first in, last out. The most used one in the clubs that are not used to using an electronic system for tournaments, I'm sure a lot of you would say it's lowest handicap. If you're not used to using electronic scores, it's easier. You just say the guy with the lowest handicap, he goes on top. But with the electronic system, I'll say the mathematical, where it actually does count the scores from the last 18 to last 9 to last 6, 3, and then the last hole is the most fair one, because we play with handicap for a reason, and why should that be the decider of a tournament? You can show tied positions, you can show a playoff, you can even set a limit per 9 holes. We had a tournament organizer who made a foursome tournament, a 4-ball tournament, and to avoid people not getting all their scores adjusted, they simply set a limit. We don't want 40 points as the max you can make in a tournament. Some of these 4-ball tournaments were won with 50, 60 points for a 4-ball, which is, it can happen, but it's unlikely. So they simply set a limit of 20 Stableford points for 9 holes. I don't think anyone is using it anymore, but it's an option to avoid scores going crazy. So that's the whole conditions of playing in the left side. On the right side is where we have all the options of if the players are to sign up themselves, they have a date for opening the sign up, a time and a closing and a time. This is used for the pro, so that's not really important. You have all your fees that you can set up. What do they pay to play in the tournament? It can get really advanced where we can go in and say, well, we got some groups that pay this, and some groups that pay this, and some groups that pay this. So we have something we call a standard fee, where we have another setup. I'm not going to go into that today because that's a little long here. But we have options of making it really complicated and making different fees for everyone. You can ask for some requests. They can ask if they can get a buggy or a caddy, or just put in some player notes where they can say I don't want to play with Anna, or I want to play with Anna, or something like that. Or in my old club, they had one guy saying, I don't want to play with this guy because he took my wife. And it's a true story. So and they will put all kinds of fun stuff in those notes. But it's up to the organizer to say what they would like to see. You can also ask questions, and this is being used more and more because when you have a club tournament, maybe there's a dinner afterwards or some socializing, and you can ask, are you coming to the dinner? And if you are you coming one or two? If you bring in your wife or something, or girlfriend. No, I haven't heard of three, wife and girlfriend, but it can happen. And all these questions can be yes and no, it can be numbers, it can be a list. If you have a tournament where you you get a shirt when you sign up for the tournament, you can put in a list, what's your shirt size, and you can put in small and all the sizes. And you can make the questions obligatory, so you have to answer a question yes or no, or choose on the list before you can move on to signing up. The online part is that we actually enable online sign-up so the players can go in and sign up online. And there's a lot of things that we can restrict on. We can have them fill out some more information when they do it. We can restrict on different unions. If you say, well, it's only Icelandic players who can play this tournament, you restrict it on your union. Or you can say maybe it's only these players that can play in this setup. You can send some custom text when they search for the entry. You can allow them to delete themselves within the time period that the tournament is open for sign up. So maybe I think I can play, I sign up, and then I find out that my wife didn't want to let me play, so I go in and delete myself again. If you don't allow that, then you will have to go in and delete them. And then the last one is just, if it's a team tournament, you have different options of getting the team's name. It can be automatically where they get all the last names, or it can be a first letter or a first name. You can put a club before, and you can have it completely manually, so you can put in it Team Toyota, Team whatever sponsor name the teams might have, or it could be Denmark, Iceland, Norway, and so forth. We won't have any online sign-up in this one. The publishing is where you decide. We have some extra information that goes in the tournament. It can be anything. Please be there at least 45 minutes before. Register at the desk to get your goodie bag, scorecard, blah blah blah. You can even hide the tournament when you're setting up a tournament. You may not want it to be in your schedule, so you hide it until you're done with the setup, and then you unhide it again. Sometimes it's just a hidden tournament that you only use for the administration purpose, but you don't have anything public except the slideshows. If you have a corporate day that you do not want on your schedule, you can still set up everything and make slideshows, but they won't be in your schedule. You can upload a logo that will be displayed on some reports and the slideshows. You can put some sponsor logos up that will be on the presentation page, the info page. You can put venue information. Maybe it's a tournament that's played on 3 courses. You can put information about where they play, how they get there, how you made some arrangement with the hotel or something like that, and they can find all this information in here. And the last one is the live scoring options. what do we allow the players to see online? Can they see the player information, who signed up for the tournament? A lot of people would like to see, a lot of members would like to see, is my buddy playing in the tournament, and they would like to see who signed up first before they sign up, or is the guy who took my wife playing in the tournament and I won't play in the tournament. So you decide what to show in here of different stuff. And this is also where we can get a link directly to this this live scoring page, just for this one tournament here. Now the tournament system can also be embedded on your web pages, so you have the live scoring directly on. I'm doing really well today. So we just pretend it's this one here. It's actually the amateur championship. I'm not quite sure what's happening. If you have online sign up, I just forgot this. If you have online sign up added, you can get a link just for the sign up. Let's say you have a closed a group of guys that you want to send just this tournament, you don't want it to be public, then you can hide the tournament and send the sign up link just to this group of players, and they can sign up without having to go through all the other stuff. You can have contact information, who's the tournament organizer, who's the chef, who's the food and beverage, who's the hotel manager, whatever information is important for a tournament, you can put this information in here. You can attach a tournament to different order of merits. Maybe you have a senior A group or married that plays straw play. Maybe they play eclectic or stableford or something. You can add the different order of merits that you have to the different classes that you have in your tournament. So all this is done here in the setup. And once I'm done with all the scores, I just click a button and it will transfer to the order of merits. There's for the clubs, there's and also the clubs that use tee time booking, there's an blocking integration into the tee time booking, so I can go in and block directly into the tee time booking. And this is where I see the option of signing up, booking a tee time and signing up for the tournament as well. Will be something that we will build in somewhere along this area, so they can sign up and book a tee time at the same time. And the last one is called logins, and it's something we use if, for instance, you have a corporate day and you would like for the organizers to be able to go in and add his players himself, or maybe you have some external help for a tournament, they do scoring or do something in the tournament. You can go in and add an administrator to just this one tournament and nothing else. He will just get a link to this tournament, and you can decide what can he do in the system of these things here. And as long as he's in the tournament, he can click on the link and open it. And as soon as you delete him, the link will die. So you can hand out get some help without having to give someone administrative right to the full system. All right. So once I'm done with the setup, as I showed you earlier when I tried to sign up for my club tournament, the players have done that themselves. I have 16 players in the system already. They signed up as a team. And we have some good players like Lee Westwood and Lee Polder and Arnold Palmer. That's actually quite amazing. I knew he moved over here. He didn't die. So I have all these entries, and I cheated a little bit. I have to admit, because we have an Excel import function where you can download a template and you can put in if it's only club members, you put in a club number, and if it's other people, you just leave the reference to the club out of the Excel sheet, and then you can go back in and you can import it into the tournament, and all this is filled up. Maybe you have a corporate day and you have the organizer or the client will tell you who's going to play in the system. Well, you send him this Excel sheet and he fills out the information with the player number, and you just import it into the tournament. There's other options. There's the online. The players go on and book themselves, and there's also what we call a quick entry to if someone comes into the clubhouse and say, can you sign me up for the tournament? Well, then you can go in and just enter them from one of these countries. Yours will of course be first, and you put in the ID. So I just steal it a little bit. And I can't even write now. Oh, sorry. And it will find me. My name's not Joe, but it's only in the test system. And I can add as many as I want in this window. I want to play with them. Right now we're just 3 on the team, so everything here will say it's red. It's not really ready for the team. But when I add the last one, I now have a full team, and I can save this, and we'll be playing on the same team together. Now, since this was a pre-arranged TV cooked dinner, I already created a start list as well, and I created some scores in the system. But I just want to add my team to the start list as well, so we can play with them. So I just want to add us to a new tea time at 10. There's a lot of options of creating tea times. You can create them on the sign-up date. You can create them on a handicap order. You can create them randomly. All different ways of creating the start lists. And do you have more rounds? You can create them in leaderboard order when you play the first round, so the best goes out at the end and so forth. So scoring-wise, there's 3 ways to enter scores. There's the admin option, where the admin enter all the scores that come in after the round. They give you the scorecard. A lot of clubs are still using this because that's just the way we do it, and they don't. Maybe the players don't like to have the phones out, or they may not all have a smartphone, or whatever reason they find. You click on a team or a player, and you simply enter the scores. And when you save it, the scores are in the system. So now they're actually final here. That's the most used still. There's no doubt about it. That's the way most of the clubs still using that. Then we have the player scoring module. We made this last year because we think, at least for some tournaments, this will be very big, that the player can enter the scores themselves. I think for the juniors will be the first that will take this, and they can, and the parents can stay off the course and follow the scores and not run around behind the junior and tell them to do this and do that. We made a really easy way. It's not an app because we want it to be used on all smartphones. So what happens is that we send out scoring codes either when we publish the start list in this mail, or when we open the scoring, we can send out the scoring codes, and each player will actually get the email if they have the email in the system, and they just agree on whoever on the team is doing the scoring. Just one guy on the flight will have to do the scoring for all of them. And then this is just for live scoring. It's not the official scores. It's not approved for official scores yet by RNA, so it's always the tournament's responsibility to guarantee that and I just have to say that I don't care what the organizers really do, but it is not approved for official scores yet. And I know some people still do that, so I just sent an email to Tiger Woods actually, so he will have one. He will have a scoring code in the system, and I really hope that the test system is working now. So he will simply get a mail, and on the phone it's built and it will go into this to the tournament. And if it's not working, I'm going to call someone very quick and have them fix it. Because this also worked yesterday. Now on big screen, it doesn't look as nice as it actually does on the phone, because it's built for the phones. First, it will ask, are you this guy that clicked the link? And if you say yes, you enter the scores. And on the phone, this is what you see, and all they have to do is click the score. They will choose what they have. It jumps to the next hole. They will click the hole. They choose the next score. And if, let's say it's a company day, a corporate day, they use this system here. Well, then they can start following the tournament as well on the phone by clicking on the leaderboard, and then they can see, especially corporate days, they love this, so they can banter each other. So once they've seen the leaderboard, that's coming up in just a second, unless it's really dead for the test server. Come on. And that's enough. It will show the leaderboard complete, and they can even go into each. This is a team tournament, so if it was like a pro-am, they would be able to go into each scorecard to see how they're actually doing on the different holes. Not doing so well right now. That's better. Oh, another eagle. So once they're done with the scores, then they would just leave this this window and everything in the tournament on the tournament page for the administrator is now updated, so they're done as well. Then they can go, of course, can go in and check. If you're using the play live scoring function, I would. And you get the scorecard in, I would use the lock for eternal scores, because that means now the link can enter any, when I save this, the link can't enter any scores anymore. They can still go in and see the scorecards, but they can't change and cheat anything in there. We also have an option to have volunteers on the course. Maybe you have every 3 holes, you have a guy sitting. There's a good report that can be done that can be used for taking the scores down, and then once they left the green and you have the scores, you enter the volunteer scoring. This site has been built for tablets, so you sit out on the course with the report, write down the scores, and then once they left, you enter it on a tablet that has a mobile connection or Wi-Fi if there's any courses that has that, and it looks almost like the other one, but it's made for a little bigger screens. Who likes passwords? So the volunteers will simply get an overview saying, this is the first guy coming to see me, this is the second guy coming to see me. So they will just follow along in this, and this is sponsors in the tournament. We forgot to rename them. So they will just go in on this. And the volunteers on the screen that's built for tablets, they will just click or tap the hole. They will get par, and then they can plus or minus on each hole and quickly enter the scores for each player or each team. And I never heard anyone having trouble in doing this before the next flight is coming. So they have plenty of time, especially when they write down the scores and then enter them on the iPad afterwards. If it's a more professional tournament and you have referees, then there's even a pace of play on the tablets. If you have timings on the scorecard, you can see how they're doing, both on the scores entered. Let's say that the players are doing the scores themselves, then you actually get the scores quite soon after they leave the green. Normally takes about 2 to 3 seconds to do all 4 scores. And you actually get a good statistic on how fast are they behind. And the pace of play will show you green colors if they're doing good, red colors if they're doing bad, and orange colors if they're starting to do bad. So a lot of referees, either R and A, are using the pace of play on the iPads, because you can also message if there's just 2 referees, one on each front 9 or each 9, they can message the group and say this group is falling behind, it's player number whatever, it's not the 2 other, it's this guy, and they will get an icon on the pace of play and they can see that it's not working. Just going to try run one more time. I'm not sure I'm there, but I'm just going to try. No. So I'll show you something else instead. There is a standalone, what we call live scoring site, and it has the Golfbox colors, it has the Golfbox website and everything, but we also have the option of letting you implement everything onto your website so it looks, and if you tweet or do Facebook or something about that, it's your website, it's your own website that you're sending out, not the Golfbox website. So you can build it into the website. If we take the Danish Ecuador 3rd level on the Nordic League, I think you have quite a few players playing that as well. Everything on the website above and the advertising below, something they put in. They place a script on the page that they want to, where they want it to show, and everything else is controlled by them. So you can't really see that it's not their own page, and when they send this out, it's their own page, it's their hits that comes to it's their sponsors that get the hits on the website. So even with fairly limited web designer skills, you can integrate this into your websites, and more clubs doing this, so they can get it online on their own web pages. Yeah. There's different tournaments in the. Let me just nothing. So this is actually the amateur championship from 2018. After they played the first 2 qualifying stroke plays were checked, and the 3 Icelandic guys did not make the playoffs or the match play. And for the last 32 players, they go in and they take a picture of everyone and upload them into the system. So now it's a little more than just a box. It's a little more exciting to follow the tournament, and you can follow the progress and see how well and how bad they did. And if you choose this one called the finals, you will even see a little bigger option of the leaderboard. So there's all different kinds of views in different tournaments in the system. And as I said, there's no doubt that the RNA is our biggest customer in the tournament system, and they do everything but the Open. Even the qualifiers for the Open, they do it in Golfbox. So it's because they have IBM or whoever, they have their own specific server. I don't think our servers will be able to handle the load, to be honest, of the millions of people watching that leaderboard. So they have dedicated and it's a simple setup for the Open. It's always the same, so it's not a big tournament system. It's just 4 rounds of stroke play. So it's not a huge tournament system they have behind it. It's just something built into the web page. Okay, I almost got to show everything except the part that didn't work. Yeah. Throughout the whole tournament, you can always go in and take different reports. In the start, there'll be maybe some entries, but as soon as you've done your start list, you have a lot more options to do reports. For instance, you can do scorecards, or team cards, or pace of play cards, bogey signs, different ways to do the start lists, and the same thing with the results list. So the scorecards, there are some predefined scorecards in the system. The scorecard for the pro competition is one that has 4 scorecards on an A4 where you can tear off two straps. There's an amateur scorecard where you get the strokes, in this case it's actually dots, and you get 2 per A4. I think there will be a new version soon in the system as well. And you have all the information, and if they have to enter timings into the course, then it will show when should they be at each hole. But since we don't have any timings, we just put in the same amount. Yes. Questions?
Well, thank you, Martin, for the introduction on your chapter number 3. Now we take questions. I'm sure there are some. In the back, go ahead. Formandi. Já. Hverju það deilt og svo ræði. Okay, the question is, for example, playing Texas format scramble, can the administrator choose what the total score would be multiplied, subtracted or multiplied with? Or when you're finding out the handicap for the group or the team, which number the total amount of handicap will be divided by? For example, can you change and customize all these different things?
So a normal scramble is the best ball and the best score. But with handicaps, then you have different options. You can do some of the handicap, and then you can do some. So what you're saying is you're asking if I can take the team handicap and maybe extract that from the score.
Well, for example, you and I are playing Texas Scramble, and so in order to obtain the handicap that we will be playing from as a team, you would add your handicap to mine and then divide it by 5 or 3 or 8 or whatever the organizer chooses.
Yes. So there's different options. That's the normal. Is to add a handicap and divide it by the number of players. Mm-hmm. But then you can go in and do some other adjustments. So you can adjust it to some percentage and there's always an explanation over here. So if I adjust it with 50% of the team, then my strokes will be even lower. Or if I take the team, combine the handicaps, and I say 90%, then we have even less strokes.
So you can alter it any way.
Yes, so there's different options. You can have sums. You can have you can even adjust each player. So if his handicap were to count 50% and the other players would count 75%, you could set that up as well. I don't know how much of this is used, but there is a lot of different calculations in there.
Two questions. I think I know the answer to the first one, but just getting to see if there
So the question was, can you have a tournament played on 2 or 3 or more courses and rotate them per day?
So you set up, you input all your courses, you input all your course sites, and then you say in the rounds and format, what round do I play? Even play round 1 on all 3 courses on the same day, then we play round 2, and then they move around from different courses on the next days.
Second one is, can anyone create a tournament? I mean, we have a lot of small groups in our club, maybe a group of 20 friends or something, and they want to have all of our players for summer. Can they create their own tournament in the system and maintain that through summer?
So the question is, can a club administrator, for example, give permission to groups within the club, members, to set up their own tournament as they see fit?
You can give any member rights to the tournament system. Yes.
So you have to give them the right.
Yes, a player can make tournaments. So it's a tournament organizer system, and there has to be someone in charge of that. So yeah, so that's not like in book.
And you gave an example of that earlier when you said, for example, when you're having sponsor or corporate days, you could send someone a link just for that.
So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can have, if they have 20 tournaments a year, you want to give them the normal administrator rights, and they create all 20 tournaments. If you have a group coming to your club of 10 players and they say, can we have a tournament where we can enter the scores? You can set up the tournament for them and give them use the login function here. Give him a link just to this one tournament, and he will play with this and use that. So, but for the 20 clubs, I would give them administrator rights.
Good enough. Yeah, I saw. The question from the gentleman, and actually it's more of an encouragement, because if we were to sign up for Golfbox, Icelandic golfers are used to deciding their own tee times when they register for a tournament, and taking that away from them will be a disaster. So you have 1 year if we sign up, but it's more of an encouragement, because and maybe it's a cultural thing, but if I want to join a tournament on Saturday, I would like to choose my own tee time if possible. I mean, it doesn't apply for all tournaments, but the social ones it does.
And that is definitely different from country to country. Where in Denmark we don't use the start list maybe for some of these tournaments. It's actually possible to create a tournament with no start list, where you just enter the players and then you enter the scores. But I know we have this on the roadmap because we just signed the second last club in Denmark, and they used to have this, and we promised it to them as well. And we have other clubs that wanted this, but it hasn't been a big thing. But it will be something that we have, and if you tell Carsten that it has to be there before 2020, then it will be there. Exactly, so that's why it will be there.
Mótakerfið. Yeah, okay. Okay, the question is if you have, well, many of the clubs have a tour within the club, for example, for the whole summer. And could you set the system up so that the system will choose the six best out of the 10 rounds played by any team, if that is the condition of play? Could you try to adjust that in your system?
Yeah, so in the order of merits that it will have to be, you can set up how many best rounds, but you can even make it fun and say, and how many worst rounds do you want to count for the order of merits? We did this 1 year, and we had the 5 best counting rounds and 1 worst round. It was a disaster.
Those 13 points, there's nothing you can do once you have them. Gunnar, Tryggvi. Go, say.
Because you allow to upload the name list to the tournament to Excel, can you not import tea times in the same template?
No, not at the moment.
The question was if you allow, or since you allow third party to upload Excel sheets, for example, with players' names, couldn't a column be added to that Excel sheet containing the tee times? And the answer was no.
The answer was no, and I think if we do the other one where you book the tee time and you sign up for the tournament, you don't really need the import function.
It would be quicker to add it into the system.
As you can see here, a lot of encouragement, positive encouragement to get right on that. Right?
Something about maybe the performance of the system. Will we be working from a server abroad, or is it will be an Icelandic server? And second, maybe different question, what is the general stability of Golfbox in operation?
So the first question is, from what server will we be working from if and when adopting Golfbox? And the second question is the uptime, for example. Yeah, the stability of the system. How has it been working in the past?
So right now the main servers are in Denmark, and the live scoring service is in Asia, Microsoft Asia, and we're looking, probably not within the next 6 months, but we're looking to move everything into either Amazon or Microsoft, so we can geographically say where we want to have the servers. It's going to be something that's going to be required by law, that if you are in Australia, the servers have to be in Australia. If you are in the States, the servers have to be in the States. So it's something we have to do anyway, but right now it will be, what you've seen on the test server is not how the system works. It's a lot faster because the system is up all the time on the real servers, and with regards to stability, we have more than 99.9 uptime. So we only have scheduled maintenance, and we rarely have that. So we have a really, really good stability.
Okay. Fleiri spurningar, gjör svo vel. Okay, the question is, when you're printing out the scorecards, do you have a fixed template? Is that the template you showed us, or can the club alter the template as they see fit?
Currently, we have fixed templates.
Just one or many?
It depends on what we do have some for the clubs. We call them printer scorecards, which is a standard where there's two different. There's an A5 and A4 in height and 3 columns, and then we have the one for the tournament. But obviously, every time a new country comes in, there's new wishes. We do not have any plans currently to make you can go in and play with the scorecard and make it how you want it to be. But I can't say it will be a scorecard generator or something will be there in the future. But I'm thinking if you have a scorecard that you're used to and there's another size, we'll make a template that fits the scorecards that you're used to.
Yeah, but to add to that, the clubs might have 20 or 30 different
Why would they have that?
templates of scorecards.
But why would they have that?
Gjör svo vel. The question from that gentleman, now in Iceland, as in some Scandinavian clubs, we've gone from the coloring system from the tees to the metric, or playing from 54B. Is that fixed in your scorecard? Do you only have the white, yellow, red, and blue, or could the clubs put in 54, 46, etc.?
They can do whatever they want. So we have the standard colors, and they can create up to 8 different other Ds. So it could be X, Y, and we have a code in Denmark, it's A, B, C, D. And what most are going into numbers now, so 59, 64, and so forth. So that's all built in the course.
Israel?
Sem leikmaður og ef ég ætla að leika mér á móti þessu keppni í helgina, get ég þá leikmaður í öllum klúbbunum á landinu eða þarf ég að fara í hvert fyrir sig?
If a player wants to compete in a tournament next weekend, doesn't matter at which club, can he go online into Golfbox and see which tournaments are available for him to play, and can he, register for that tournament that he would like to?
Yes. So the way we done it, let me just, since it's not working, the way we done it, not because Denmark we're 185 clubs, and my club has 200. Most other clubs has between 1 and 200, so we don't have a complete list of all the clubs' tournaments. What we've done is in the tournament system, you can mark your tournament as being an open tournament, which means it's a tournament that everyone is welcome to play in. And then in the tournament window here, there's an option to search for all the open tournaments. And then they can go in and search whether it's a team competition or what kind of, and they can even be specific to regions or a specific club. If they want to play in a specific club, they can go in and search for open tournaments in that club. So we don't have, because there are simply too many, so we don't have a complete list of all the tournaments. You have to look, and you can even say, I want to have the ones that has online registration and so forth.
Fleiri spurningar? Gjörðu svo vel. Já. He was making fun of you.
There you go.
He was doubtful that you at Silkeborg could accommodate 200 golf tournaments per year, and I told him that that was exactly what you did.
I can show you the setup, they're all in there.
The additional question is, do you have actually any members? Because it sounds like most of the days are completely full with tournaments.
We have 1,700 members.
But these are not open.
These are not open. These are men's, ladies, seniors, juniors. I think for club tournaments we have less than 20. So these are all weekday tournaments, but we book the tee time and then we enter the tournament. So it could be 3 tournaments in one day.
Fleiri spurningar? Vorum við ljúkum þessu? Ok, ef það ekki fleiri spurningar, þá ætla ég að biðja ykkur aðeins að hikra. And Martin, before we end the session, if you would please excuse us for maybe 3 or 4 minutes while we discuss the next step. I wanted to introduce that to the audience. So
Do I have to leave?
No. And you don't speak Icelandic, do you?
No, no idea what you say.
So bear with me for a couple of minutes. Eins og ég kom inn á í upphafi, þá hefur við verið að vinna þessu síðan í nóvember, að kanna möguleikana á því hvort að það sé hægt að ná ásættanlegum samningi við Golfbox kerfið, og með það fyrir augum að við getum hafið innleiðingu þess á þessu ári, þannig að það yrði tilbúið og up and running í raun og veru bara í apríl, eða fyrir næst leiktíð 2020. Og það er það sem IT-nefndin hefur verið að vinna að, og ekki bara til þess að finna út hver eru verðin, við vorum svo komin með þau nokkuð vel, en að finna út bara hver er allur kostnaður sem mun geta fallið til, hvað kostar að gera ekki bara ásættargjaldið eða Golfbox, heldur það er annar kostnaður fólginn í þessu, það er ákveðin innleiðingarkostnaður, hugsanlega kostnaður vegna hýsingar á kerfinu einhvers staðar annar staðar heldur en það sem við höfum verið með það, getur verið þýðingarkostnaður og svo framvegis. Og við viljum gefa ykkur heildartölur, hver eru forsendurnar og hver eru raunverulega tölur sem við erum að tala um, þannig að við höfum fullar forsendur til þess að taka ákvörðun þetta. Við erum á eftir áætlun, því miður, því að við sendum drög eða svona breytingartillögur að samningnum við Golfbox á Golfbox fyrir 2 vikum síðan, og það tók langan tíma að fá svör tilbaka, og þau bárust því miður fyrir 3 dögum eða 4 dögum síðan. Hugmyndin okkar eins og við höfum sett þetta upp tímalínni og kom fram í tölvupóstum eða fundarboðinu vegna auka þingsins sem við ætlum að halda, tímalínan þar var að á mánudag næsta eftir helgina þá ætlum við að vera með stjórnarfund í Golfsambandinu þar sem við myndum taka afstöðu til endanlegra samningsdaga. Bara lokas afurð þessara samningaviðræðna. Þá átti að taka ákvörðun það hvort að stjórn Golfsambandsins legði það til að samið yrði Golfbox á þessum nótum sem lagt var upp með og svo ef það yrði samþykkt þá það gert með fyrirvara samþykki auka golfþings. Það til þess að kaupa okkur tíma að þá boðum við til auka golfþings 23. mars næstkomandi sem eftir 2 vikur. En út af því að við erum á eftir áætlun. Það ekki búið að klára þennan samning, hann nánast klár, en hann ekki alveg búinn og hann verður ekki búinn, hann verður ekki tilbúinn á mánudaginn, þannig að stjórn Golfsambandsins geti actually tekið ákvörðun já eða nei, það mun taka einhverja daga í viðbót. Þannig að eins og við horfum á það út af því að við þurfum að senda fundargögn með ákveðnum lögbundnum fyrirvara á félagsmenn fyrir auka golfþing, að þá sé ég ekki fyrir mér, eins og staðan núna, að auka golfþingið muni fara fram 23. mars, heldur frestist 1 til 2 vikur. Og við munum ræða þetta á stjórnarfundi núna á mánudaginn, þá eigum við fund, þar sem við förum bara yfir stöðuna eins og hún verður á mánudag og tökum ákvörðun hvort að auka golfþingið verði fært til, en ég mun giska á það að það verði niðurstaðan út af því að við viljum að þið fáið nægan tíma til þess að kynna ykkur þetta. Við munum ekki senda ykkur samninginn sem sjálfan, því hann bara trúnaðarmál, en við munum segja ykkur hvað felst í samningnum og hvort að lagt sér til að hann samþykktur á hálfu stjórnarsambandsins. En við viljum hins vegar að þið getið farið með þær upplýsingar heim í ykkar klúbb, jafnvel átt stjórnarfund í millitíðinni, tekið ákvörðun og rætt þetta ykkar milli, komið með spurningar til okkar. Ég veit að planið líka að IT-nefndin, eða minnst okkur starfsfólk Golfsambandsins ætlaði að reyna að hóa framkvæmdastjóra eða kerfisstjórana á fund til þess að svara spurningum, þannig að það gæti svona létt af, að tappað af spurningunum sem kemur fram á auka golfþingi. En bottom line, þetta risastór ákvörðun og við höfum alltaf talað það að standa í sameiningu að þessari ákvörðunartöku og þess vegna það bara heiðarlegt að við gefum okkur góðan tíma. Við erum ekkert að renna á raskatið með þetta, við höfum alveg tíma og þetta kerfi verður ekki tekið í notkun fyrir á næsta ári, verði niðurstaðan að taka það í notkun. En 2 vikur eða 3 vikur til og frá munu ekki skipta öllu máli, en það eina rétta í stöðunni samt að þið fáið góðan tíma til þess að skoða og kynna það fyrir ykkar stjórnmönnum eða framkvæmdastjórum og við getum átt eitthvað svona samtali í millitíðinni ef það eitthvað spurningar sem komið upp. Þannig að tímalínan eins og núna að við erum að reyna að klára þennan samning þannig að allir séu sáttir. Það auðvitað ákveðna takmarkanir á því hverju hægt að breyta í svona samningi þegar við erum að kaupa ákveðna vöru. Þetta svona, ég hef kannski tekið dæmi við ætlum að gerast áskrifendur af Microsoft Office til 3 ára og þá semjum við kannski ekki rosalega mikið við Microsoft hvað fer út úr kerfinu og hvað kemur inn í og hvaða kostnað þeir bera. Þetta náttúrulega einhverju leyti bara einhver fixt vara og hún kostar eitthvað ákveðið, en ef við erum sátt við atriði sem snúa að gagnavörslunni, persónuvernd og auðvitað verðum og kostnaði við nýjar innleiðingar eða breytingar og svo framvegis, ef við erum sátt við þá hluti sem við höfum möguleika á að tvíka til samningnum, þá erum við að reyna það og endanum munum við standa frammi með einhverja endaafurð í höndunum og vonandi verður það í næstu viku. Þá verður boðað til stjórnarfundar þar sem stjórnin mun fara yfir málið og koma með sína niðurstöðu og í framhaldinu verður síðan haldið þetta auka golfþing þar sem við viljum fá samþykkt hreyfingarnar fyrir því að fara í þessa átt. Því að við höfum alltaf talað það að þetta risastór ákvörðun, ef það verður þá erum við að taka kerfi sem við höfum verið að þróa sjálf síðan 20 ár og henda því til hliðar. Þannig að við viljum standa sameiginlega að þessari stóru ákvörðun og þess vegna líka mikilvægt að þegar golfþingið verður haldið, hvort sem verður í lok apríl eða í lok mars eða byrjun apríl eða miðjan apríl, að þið mætið á golfþingið. Að við upplifum ekki bara stemminguna, jú, þetta ekkert nema sleikubrjósíkar og regnbogar hérna, það allir rosalega sáttir, ég þarf ekkert mæta á þetta golfþing, því að þetta verður hvort eð samþykkt. Það ekki skilaboðin sem við viljum senda út. Við viljum að fólk mæti, ef það sátt við þetta, að mæti það og kjósi með því að þetta verði tekið upp. Við munum ekki líta á fjarvistri og golfþingi sem eitthvað samþykki fyrir því að halda áfram. Og þegar við stöndum fram með svona stóri ákvörðun, þá viljum við sem flestir komi að henni. En þetta svona staðan svona í dag og við munum tilkynna á mánudag eða þriðjudagsmorgun hvort að þessu golfþingi verði frestað eða hnikað til einhver daga, eins og segi. Við viljum bara gefa ykkur góðan tíma. Okkur liggur ekki þannig á. Einhverjar spurningar varðandi það? Og svona næstu skref. Já, gjörðu svo vel.
Ég held að ég sé aðalega það og flestir legg inn í þessu að hugsa það verði að vera eitthvað skilaboð frá einhver að það verði að koma inn tímaskráningamót fyrir því að við kemur út af allir. Eins og þú sagði sjálfur, ég sé bara að þú talar bara.
Já, og svo spurning, væri það dealbreaker? Já, ég alveg sammála þér í því. Ég held að ég myndi ekki vilja vera formaður mótanefndar í þeim golfklúbbi þegar það verður tekið upp. Já, það hægt að setja það með svona Það raun og veru svolítið skrítið bara að þetta sé ekki í kerfinu. Ég var svolítið hissa að heyra það. Gunnar? Já. Gunnar, gjör. Já, ég held að þessi tölur verða svona breytingar á vinnulagi sem þarf að innleiða í klúbbana og þess vegna líka segi ég að þegar og ef ákvörðun verður tekin af stjórn Golfsambands að gera samning við Golfbox að það verður við að leyfa klúbbunum að melta það, hvaða áhrif þetta mun hafa og koma með spurningar tilbaka sem við gerum þá í samningu einhvern veginn reynt að svara því að það verður ekkert aftur snúið sko. Ef við förum í þetta þá það bara ákveðið og við erum að komitta okkur til x margra ára í því og það verður ekkert auðvelt að 3 árum liðnum eða 4 árum liðnum eða við erum ósátt að fara bara aftur í golf.is. Þetta hefur mikla breytingar fyrir sig sem ég... Hvernig sjá þið fyrir nú maður í þessu samningaviðræðum ég að fara inn á golf.is og skrá mig inn í Golfbox inn í golf.is og gera áfram inn í golf.is hvernig sjá þið það? Spurningin fyrir upptökuna sem sagt hvernig mun viðmót notandans eða klúbbana breytast við aðkomu Golfbox og svarið forsíða golf.is verður okkar eigin og það verður bara þessi fréttsíða og hvað það en hins vegar þegar kylfingurinn ætlar að skrá sig inn, innskráning, þá einhver flipi hægra á horninu eftir eða hvað það og þegar hann hefur skráð sig inn þá fer hann inn í annað kerfi. Þannig að fronturinn á síðun golf.is verður eins og hann í dag eða bara eins og við viljum hafa hann. Það ekki fyrir þú loggar þig inn að þá tekur við kerfið sem Martin var að sína. Þá ferðu inn á eins og hann var að sína áðan, þá ertu komin inn á Já, svona mínar síður og ef þú ert administrator í golfklúbbnum þá ferðu inn á klúbbasíðuna. Það byrjar fyrir ekki valdi. Innleiðinguna. aftur fyrir hljóðupptökuna spurningin hver kostnaðarmunurinn á því að vera bara með að reka Golfbox á hverju ári versus að reka golf.is á hverju ári. Þá það þannig að, og Guðmundur þú kannski hoppar inn í það er rangt hjá mér, en við munum greiða á hverju ári bara license fee, eða svona áskriftargjald sem eru 72.000 evrur, ekki? 70.000 evrur, sem eru 10 milljónir, cirka bát. Og fyrir það borgum við bara eitt gjald, golfsambandi gerist áskrifandi að Golfbox og allir aðrir golfklúbbarnir fá að nota þetta. Þannig að þetta er þessi tala, pluss síðan auðvitað einhverju aukaverk og eitthvað sem myndi bætast á það, en þetta áskriftargjald, leyfisgjald, er 72.000 evrur á ári. Ég meina, hvað er, þú veist, við hefum verið að borga, já. Já, við erum með svona 15 milljónur á ári sem við höfum verið að verja í tölvumál, skilur, en það er líka að serverarnir hýsa þá hjá Vani og svo framvegis, svo samanlagt, en við höfum séð að þetta er svona cirka bát á pari. Já, við tökum á okkur innleiðingarkostnað á þessu ári og hugsanlega eitthvað á næsta ári, en eftir það, eftir að kerfið er bara komið í, það er búið að færa öll gögn yfir á rétta servera og þetta er orðið bara eins og það að vera, þá borgum við þessar förstu tölu 70.000 evrur á ári.
Er það verulegur þessi innleiðingarkostnaður?
Guðmundur. Spurningin er fyrir upptökun aftur hver er innleiðingarkostnaðurinn og við höfum áætlað hann svona í kringum 8 til 10 milljónir króna sem það verður á þessu ári, á árinu 2019.
Hvað er hugmyndin að samningurinn sé langur?
Samningurinn er hugsaður núna til 30 ára.
Já, við erum að ræða um
en það möguleiki að hafa hann lengri. Það er eitt af þessum útistandandi atriðum því að við auðvitað, við erum að henda okkar vöru svolítið til hliðar og hugsanlega þannig að það sé erfitt að taka aftur upp. Við þurfum svolítið langtíma skuldbindingu, það væri betra fyrir okkur. En auðvitað, þetta er alltaf að vega og metta, síðan við erum ósátt við kerfið, þá erum við föst og svo framvegis. Já. Nei, ég er sammála því að við ættum að skoða það að reyna að hafa þetta lengra en 3 ár. Þó þannig bara að hagsmunir okkar séu dyggðir í því. Úlfar? Jú, spurningin er sem sagt út af því að áskriftargjaldið í evrum, þá mun það breytast eftir því hvernig krónan sveiflast og hvort við höfum áhyggjur af því. Og svarið við því er auðvitað jú, þetta gerir það að verkum að hlutfall af útgjöldum Golfsambandsins í erlendri mynt er orðið miklu meiri, eða ekki miklu meiri en töluvert meiri heldur nú í dag því að við erum auðvitað allt okkar, meirihlutann af okkar afrekssstarfi, allar ferðir, uppihald, gistingu fyrir leikmenn, greiðum þjálfara og höfum verið að greiða þjálfarunum okkar í erlendri mynt síðastliðin 2 ár og svo bætist þetta við í viðbót 10 milljónir til viðbótar. Sko opsjónirnar sem við höfum eru auðvitað að kaupa eða festa gjaldeyri, kaupa ákveðið magn gjaldeyris með við séum föst með ákveðið gengi en í því felst náttúrulega líka átta til og frá en þetta er alveg rétt og góð ábending. Já, það gerir það. Ekki server, við erum hjá Advania. Já, það breytist, getur breyst. Valdi og svo Þórður.
bjóða upp á.
Það sem hann er að kynna alveg frábært og það eina að þetta oft skráningin móti okkur. Það bara alveg kostulega frábært kerfið. Það var eins og
Já. Fleiri spurningar hvað þennan þátt varðar eða til Martins? Þessu vel? Já. Stærsti faktorinn í þessu er að mínu viti bara commitmentið og að við erum að skuldbinda okkur í erlendri mynt, sko. Og við vitum ekki hvernig það fer, þú veist, því að fjárhæðin getur auðvitað þess vegna tvöfaldast á þessum tíma. En eitt af þessum atriðum, núna liggur fyrir samningsdrög sem er 3 ár, eitt samningsatriðanna væri ok, seljum til 5 ára og höfum fastar greiðslur, síðan það er líka að hafa það að veira, sko, það sé ekki hægt að hækka áskriftargjaldið á ári eða þegar framlengja á samningin að loknum 3 eða 5 árum að þá hækki það eitthvað bara stærðfræðilegt. Þetta eru atriði sem við reynum að hafa áhrif á en eru bara háð samningum. Hvað segirðu? Já. Já, þetta er samt svona ekki business sem Golfsambandið hefur verið í, að gera framvirka samninga. Já, ég veit.
Þetta er okkur spurning til Martin, fyrirtæki Golfbox, hvernig fyrirtæki er þetta, hvað fyrirtæki og hvernig hefur síðan
The question is, could you give us a short introduction on Golfbox as a company? Where is it located? Is it a limited liability company? Who are the owners? And how have you been doing for the past 6 or 7 years?
Golfbox is located in Denmark, in Silkeborg, and 3 years ago we were acquired by an Australian company called MSL, Empower MSL, which is a large company that is in all kinds of, they're in stadiums, they're in clubs that we don't, like social clubs and all kinds of different sports as well. And if you talk how we're doing the last 6, 7 years, you talk about financials. So since year 3, in 2007, we've been in black numbers, so we've been doing really well since we started. The first 3 years, we of course had to invest a lot of money, but since then we have only made black numbers. So we've been doing really well, and that's also why we got sold. It started us with us being partners with the Australian company. They used our software, and then they decided they wanted to buy us instead.
So if you would have to take a guess, you're going to be around in 3 years' time.
No doubt about that.
To rephrase the question.
Yes, no doubt about that. We're doing real well.
Guðmundur, varst þú með spurningu?
Kannski ekki spurningar meira þessar samningar, lengri samningur þeir fjölum vissulega betri og það er það sem við erum að skoða. En við erum líka saman tíma að skoða að hafa ákveðnar klásúlur inni sem að gefa hvað er að fara út ef að serviceleiðin er léleg eða það að þjónustig er ekki ásættanlegt. Það er svona það sem þeir fólar. Og svo erum við í samningarna sem út í staðarnir mest eru svona veikar veikt orðalega sem þeir hafa möguleika að geta komið viðbóta kostnaði inn. Við munum loka fyrir allt svoleiðis. Það er eiginlega mesta vinnan að díla við það af þetta. Og við vonandi bara í samtölu við það bara áfram næsta dag og lokum í samtíma. Áður við getum kynntan til að þetta skipta þetta.
Já, takk fyrir það.